You've been given a chance. One single opportunity. Just for you, little one. You don't have to go through the horrors about to be unleashed. You can escape all of that pain. All you have to do is listen to my voice. It begins the same as before. You hear a faint hum that vibrates and slightly tickles the back of your throat. From the sky, the resonance builds and builds to a thunderous, ear-splitting blast of one of the 7 celestial trumpets. Every time one of the trumpets has sounded, it has signaled the beginning of another 3 years of misery. Each more horrifying than the next. 4 times has the trumpet sung their songs. Before the resonance of the 5th trumpet fades, you will be given a chance to escape. When that familiar tickle reemerges, an object will appear in the sky. As it nears, so does the intensity of the tone of that awful sound. You know that it is only a matter of time before the deafening trumpet is heard once more. However, this time, what is to come will be different. The sounding of the trumpets. The past 4 trumpets were accompanied by things you've understood. Yes, they were terrifying. But it was all within the realm of what you accept as explainable. You understand the origins of an earthquake. You know why fiery mountains fall from the heavens. Science is giving you the sight from the archaic belief in the supernatural. It has no ability to release the plague. This is different. The veil has been lifted. What is coming from above is an abomination. It is wormwood. He is called Abaddon, the Banished, and Apollyon, the Destroyer. Life as you knew it is now over. For he holds the key to the bottomless pit that has imprisoned his army since even before words, "Let there be light," were spoken. The 3 pools of sacrifice. Do you remember the first time we spoke? Little one. After the 2nd trumpet had blown, you were given a vision of the pools of Nakua, Sechana. If you were able to find the location of those sacred waters, go there now. The moon has begun to turn red. Its crimson light makes the waters appear to be that of blood. Stand in the center of these 3 pools. Tread carefully, for you stand before the image of the sacrament laid upon his symbol. Each pool has a name: the pierced left hand, the pierced right hand, and the pierced foot. Prepare yourself to receive the blessing of the pierced abdomen. The blessing requires you to be anointed with the ethereal spearhead that will now run through. There is no outward wound, but your blood is now seeping internally into the empty places within you. Your body has now become the 4th pool of sacrifice. When you collapse from the pain, ensure that you fall into one of the pools of water. If you fall onto dry earth, you will have missed your only chance to enter the portal. There is no outward wound, but your blood is now seeping internally into the empty places within you. Your body has now become the 4th pool of sacrifice. When you collapse from the pain, ensure that you fall into one of the pools of water. If you fall onto dry earth, you will have missed your only chance to enter the portal. lose the anointment and be healed, but you will live the remainder of your days marked, as was Cain, hunted by both angel and demon. The place of worship, if you are successful, you will awaken in a dark, dank, candlelit stone building, lined with pews ending in a great altar. This is the place of worship, where the crossroads meet. Behind you are 3 large mirrors, very similar to the pools that you recently stood before. Look at the altar. A tall, thin, hooded figure standing before it. Slowly and cautiously approach this menacing creature. Kneel in front of it. Bow your head. Do not make eye contact. Extend your arms in front of you with your palms facing upwards. Say nothing. The figure should be in deep prayer, whispering strange incantations. If it is not, do not approach it. Only proceed if it is in prayer. Do not interrupt. Any disruption will be considered a great offense, a crime paid in blood. Be patient and make no mistake. It knows you are there. Once it has considered you and deemed you worthy, it will ask, acknowledge of your presence.
Why have you come before me?
If it decides you are not worthy, well, there really isn't much more that needs to be said, now is there? Quickly ask it the following question. What is the image of God? It will slowly lift its head and close your eyes. Shut them tight. You will hear its body creaking like breaking limbs of tree branches from an ancient forest. It will move quicker than what seems possible. It will grab you by the wrists and lift you off the ground one-handed. With the other hand, it caresses your face and embraces your head from the nape of your neck. Its bony fingers envelop your entire head from behind. The ferocity of its grip is both sensual and violent. You dangle helplessly above the ground as it lifts you closer to the face of the hidden shadows underneath its dark, worn hood. You can feel prickly dust coat and sting on your face as it exhales its dead, rancid breath over you. A scab tongue emerges from the mouth hidden in the darkness of its hood and begins to probe the entire surface of your face. It finds particular interest where your eyes rest. It is here where it wants to enter. The cold, lumpy tongue will start pushing and poking, squeezing and groping the tops of each eyeball through your eyelids. You feel the shame and demoralization intensely. Pressure builds in your head from your closed eyes as it continues to violate the fragile organs that hide behind your thin lids. The scabs feel like hundreds of little fingers with tiny fingernails that quickly find where your eyelids meet and begin to scratch viciously to try and pry them open. Shut your eyes tighter. It will groan with perverted masculine and feminine excitement of carnal desire as the little fingers intensify their efforts to dig into your eyes with raw, obscene desperation. The moans of pleasure sicken you as you resist the assault. One of the scabby protrusions bursts, coating on your face with hot, sticky tar-like fluid that slightly burns. The putrid afterbirth of the abscess spill into you as your tongue continues to relentlessly throb on the surface of your closed eyes. Suddenly, the tongue withdraws, and there's silence. Keep your eyes shut and wait. Eventually, you begin to make out a faint sound coming from the being. It is a cross between a moan and a hum. It is not quite a voice singing, as there is no melody to the sound. but melodic singing. There's a flow to the tones and a variation of intonation. Listen carefully. The words will emerge for you to hear. It happened after the sons of Adam multiplied in those days. The angels of heaven beheld them, and some became enamored with the image of whence he was created. They conspired among each other and said, Come, let us select ourselves for the progeny of men. And so we were drawn unto them by an insatiable hunger and thirst, unfamiliar to our kind. We then swore altogether to bound ourselves by mutual extractions to abandon our holy station. We descend upon Ardis, which is the top of Mount Armin, and devoured all which labored of men produced. To our delight, the flesh of man cried out to us in return and embraced our new form. They loved us, and we came to love them. Never had such pleasures of the skin, pleasures of the sight, and pleasures of the tongue, pleasures of the mind had been experienced by any living thing. Man was shown the wondrous transcendence of the grotesque and revealed to the vile decadence of purity. During our time together, we taught them sorcery and incantations. We gave them knowledge of the forging of metal and healing herbs. We instructed them in ways of architecture and mathematics. We revealed power so great it allowed them to command the atom from within the rocks of the mountain and the water of the sea. We freed their minds and released them from enslavement of the Father. In turn, they worshipped us, and their love for us strengthened. They basked in our adoration, but it was not true love we bestowed. It was deception. Our actions and deeds came with the dire consequence. We had angered the Creator and desecrated his creation. Mad with rage, the Father plunged his hand into the fabric of reality and altered the delicate strands of fate and possibilities. With his divine manipulation, he altered the pattern and set into motion a new future and predestined plan. We had been judged. We had been condemned, ourselves and humanity, to an eternity of suffering and pain. Our bodies would be scorched and burned until the end of time in a lake of fire and brimstone. However, all was not lost, for we had discovered the forbidden secret. Man, they were our true salvation. We prepared and molded them in our image, and when they were ready, we begot the Nephilim. It will lean closer and whisper ever so softly into your ear. I shall grant thee thy request, for it is the seed to the holiest of lies. The very lie that brought forth original sins. A great harvest will come from that seed. A seed that is the very fruit of knowledge, of good and evil. It is such forbidden knowledge that binds the Creator to the laws of his creation. A way to deceive the eyes of one who is seeing the thought, the mind of one who is all-knowing. But be warned, for I bestow this wisdom upon thee, forever it will bind thee to my will. Behold, the answer thou seekest. Thou art not of the image. Then it stops. You are alone in the darkness. Slowly open your eyes. I know you are scared, little one, but it is safe now. Get to your feet. The great altar has split open and revealed an entrance that allows you to proceed onward. The pain in your side must be getting worse by now. I can see the protrusion the size of an apple has formed on your side. You do not have much time. Enter the altar and move on. You proceed down a long corridor lined with mirrors. If you look into the mirrors, you may notice some of them show your reflection, and others do not. Keep moving. Do not waste time here. There is no truth here for you to find. It is difficult not to notice your reflections are all slightly different from mirror to mirror. In one, you may look younger or older. Your hair may be longer or shorter. Clothing may be different. In others, there's no reflection at all. Once again, move on. There's nothing for you here. Your life is slipping away faster than you realize, and we still have so far to go. Go to the opening at the end of the passageway. You enter a large opening with a dark ravine separating you and a structure containing stairs leading up to what appears to be a temple. From the ravine grows thick black thorns that slightly sway, even though there is no wind. Their points glisten with a substance that can only be poison. Do not get too close. In the center of the ravine is a single pathway that jets up from the thicket of needles and thorns. That will provide you your safe passage to walk upon. The pathway ends at a far end to the foot of the stairs to the temple. At the top of the stairs, there will be 4 thrones, where the ones known as the 4 living creatures reign. They are covered with eyes, in front and in back. They look down upon you with an unnerving, mischievous stare. The first living creature is that of a lion. The second is like an ox, and the third will have the face of a man. The fourth is like a great eagle. Each of the 4 living creatures will have 6 wings covered with eyes all around, even under its wings. It is said that day and night it is always chanted before them. Sadada, Sadahaya, Sadahaya, Kavada, Sava, Pakarama, Savarvana, Dila, Bahasan, Vana, Ata, Vana, Arta, Banar, Eta. At the foot of each creature, there will be a body on its knees, its face looking up to the sky with its arms outstretched, upward frozen in the act of eternal worship. Its flesh is bleached white and sags loosely from the bone. It wears a blood-red smock from its waist down to its feet. It holds rusty and dirty covered blades. You are most fortunate their backs are to you, and their mutilated faces are obscured from your view. Ben-randed on their backs is an unfamiliar rune that looks like the letter B. They are Baish. Cautiously move past them. The Baish were 4 men, great kings and leaders of the world. They ruled vast lands that ran red with blood from every man woman, and child, who they had the misfortune of being born into their realm. The 4 kings were like grown children, spoiled and naked, fighting each other, biting and gnawing at the teats of their great Mother Earth, her face beaten and scratched from when they would feed so viciously. They only knew to gorge her, and black milk flowed from the deep within her bosom. Their greed and decadence, their very existence, offended all who could peer through the veil. Their wicked lives were ended the day they were raptured and bound like statues within these walls of the great temple. They must now worship the 4 living creatures, as they once commanded others to worship them in life. They suffer now, as their kingdom suffered. For every son and daughter who found death from fighting the wars they created, their skin is blistered and torn, and their eyes are strung with the venom of the tail of 1,000 scorpions. But if they are awakened from their trance and given use of their limbs once again, one can be well assured they will not be pleasant. In unison, the 4 creatures will hold up a key, each with a unique emblem on its end, and speak. Choose. Choose now. Choose once. Choose quickly. The first creature that looks like a lion will offer you its key and say, acquiescence. The ox will offer you its key and say, Leviathan. The third creature with the face of a man offers you the key and says, Zithrodate. Lastly, the creature that's like an eagle will offer you the final key and say, Bithsurma. As the last key is presented, you hear a brittle cracking like autumn leaves from the movement of dead skin behind you. Make your choice. Make it quickly. The Baish are beginning to stir. Once they see you, they will catch you, and they will kill you. Make your choice. You will know which one to choose, I promise. Take the key and run. Run faster. Run faster. They are coming. Their howls are high-pitched gurgles and hisses. The screeches build as they close the distance between you and them, the slices of their blades coming closer and closer, the blood pouring out of your mouth and nose. You cannot slow down. Run faster. Run faster. Do not stop until you reach the church of worship. Head straight for the mirrors you saw when you first awoke in the church. Do not slow down. Run headfirst into it. Crash through it. Do not look back. You will awaken shortly. The pools of water are now dried up earth, cracked and barren. The moon should be at its peak redness now. In the distance on the plain, you should see a piercing shimmer of light. It is only temporary. As the moon loses its red shade, the beacon too begins to diminish in darkness. I am so sorry you are in so much pain, dearest little one. It pains me to ask you any more. Your precious body has so little left to give. It is so weak and fragile. But I must ask one last thing of you. One plea. I must beg of you. You must reach that beacon of light in the distance before the last of the red moon shines down upon it, or you will be trapped. I am here for you. Push aside all the pain and despair. Listen to my voice. And use everything you have left to get to the light. Now. Abaddon is here. Even from miles away, his arrival knocks you off your feet. Get up, little one. There isn't much time. Abaddon is near, and he has thoughts that are nothing but you, Abaddon. You see a brilliant beam of light shoot up into the sky. The source of this powerful beacon comes from an archway standing in an empty plain. Within the archway is a massive and majestic door standing in the emptiness. With key in hand, you must get to the door and open it before the red moon shines down upon it no more, and any hope of saving you is lost forever. Ignore the wheezing sound you make when you breathe. Pull open the door. The blood from your mouth is everywhere, making it hard for you to get in and get a good grip on the door handle. Pull harder. You only need one, just to open it enough for you to squeeze through. The light is almost gone. Pull, 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 pull. The majestic door, you did great. Get in and shut the door as fast as you can. Lock it. The light is gone. It is done. If you place your ear to the door, you may hear something that sounds like buzzing or fluttering, a sound that can only be made by the flapping of millions of wings. There will be scraping. There will be beating on the other side of the great door. Then only screams. Behind you is a long tunnel with a light at the end. Walk into the light and claim your reward, my little one. I walk into a bright light. Slowly my eyes adjust to the brightness, but I can already feel a warm breeze on my face and hear trickling from a nearby stream. Everything slowly comes into focus. The most beautiful valley spans out in front of me. It is made of hills of green, sprinkled with every color imaginable, where the most beautiful flowers pepper the landscape. I walk toward the clearing, and I see a crystal blue pond. I dip my cupped hand into the water and drink. It soothes my chapped lips and parched throat. It tastes like nothing I have ever tasted before. It is amazingly sweet, and there's an odd sensation as I swallow the water. It's like a shock from a tiny bit of electricity, but without any pain, only satisfaction. I then catch the scent of an incredibly intoxicating aroma that overpowers me. I've never smelled anything like it before. On the other side of the pond is a gathering of trees. I instantly know among these trees there is a tree that is the source of that unceasing smell. I know there is no other like it. Its leaf, its flower, its bark would never wither, and its fruit would be so beautiful and delicious. As I approach the border of the foliage, that's when I see them, a man and woman. I freeze. The couple walk hand in hand, and they are naked. I make my way closer, making sure to stay hidden beneath the bush, so I am not seen. I don't know why I am doing this. Why should I be afraid of two naked people? Yes, they are definitely naked. I look around and realize that my tree was at the center of the grove that held up this paradise. But next to my tree is another tree. It was just as majestic and impressive, but there is something ominous about it, something powerful. I look carefully at these two unique and special trees that grow in this garden. I now realize what this place is and where I'm at. I'm startled when I feel something vibrate in my pocket. It is the key I chose. As I remove the large key from my pocket and open my palm, I notice the markings on its emblem in more detail. When it was offered to me by the winged creature, I simply thought it was marked with an infinity symbol. Now I realize it was actually a serpent devouring its own tail in the shape of infinity. My mind is unlocked. It is all so clear now. I know my purpose. I know why I was chosen. I know why I was created. It was always God's will to destroy his creation. Once destroyed, he could fulfill his promise to bind his enemies and cast them into a lake of fire where they would suffer for all eternity. The trumpets were a countdown to his planned end. Those branded the enemy had spent their immortality trying to find a way to prevent it from happening. But how do you outsmart an omniscient and omnipresent being? You use the very laws of existence against him. For with the creation of the universe, unbreakable rules had to be created. He had no choice but to enslave himself to those very decrees. Without those infallible system of laws, the universe could not exist. The fallen ones realized the only way to prevent the end was to break the predestined inevitable chain of events leading to the end. They must have figured out how to connect 2 points of existence, creating a bridge for me to enter. It causes everything to stop and reset back to the very beginning instead of continuing to the predestined path. It never ends. It never reaches Judgment Day. Existence is a loop. We are destined to keep repeating it over and over and over again to escape damnation. This is infinity. Like the serpent devouring its own tail, the serpent is thought to be Lucifer, God's true adversary. But Lucifer is not a thing or a person or a thought or consciousness. He is the infinity of time, the only thing capable of denying God's divine will. It is the one simple thing that is protecting us from the wrath of an angry God. I feel its familiar presence immediately. I don't turn around, but even if I did, I know it would not harm me. It stands behind me for a while, quietly admiring the fruits of its labor. The fallen angel then inhales breath from air to speak the words that will be my final instructions. I look down at the key, mesmerized by the shape of the serpent. It is so old and worn. The jewel that makes up the serpent's eye twinkles, and I understand. I have one more thing to do. I wonder how many times I have done this. How many times have I crossed the bridge and stood at this very spot? How many? Man was created in the image of God, but I am not of that image. I am the serpent. I am the Nephilim. The breath of a faint whisper, now sweet and warm, is spoken in my ear. Just 5 simple words.